Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Who or what killed two television hosts in the woods in New Jersey?
Why would anyone believe that a bad magic trick makes you psychic?
And does anything good ever happen in the woods?
All this and more on Gory Storytime.
He said moron.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father. My name is Craig, and this is the show where we review horror movies.
Even if we shouldn't.
Why shouldn't we?
Why should we?
Anyway, this week we're doing the second found footage movie in our second time doing 4 found footage movie thing.
Yeah, that.
Now, we try to pick a topic and go 4 movies in a row, and next week will be a little different because we'll be going into Thanksgiving, and we have a perfect one for that.
Yeah, so we're
It's
going
not
to
found
take
footage. We'll take
break.
we'll take a 1-week pause from the 4, and then we'll get back to these. But we're doing 4 found footage movies. We've done it before, but these are 4 that we haven't done.
Correct.
Yes.
Usually how this happens.
So, this, a lot of people haven't heard of. It's called The Last Broadcast. It was basically released before they had finished the Blair Witch Project, and a lot of people have a lot of comments about how they think the Blair Witch Project stole its topic basically from this, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
This really was the first known found footage horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
Blair Witch was second, riding the
Second.
coattails. It was before everything.
And then there was a while.
There was so many.
Then there was a while before there was another real good one.
Yeah, but there was a lot of them that were happening, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, there was one about a Sasquatch, which I think we did for the show here.
No, we didn't do it because me and you just watched,
We watched it all.
we watched it, but then we realized how horrible it was.
Anyway, the point is, this one here, the basic premise is there's 2 people that do a show for their local community television. Why anyone would do that, who knows? Where they try to talk about spooky creatures and weird
Fact or
things.
fiction.
Yeah, it was called Fact or Fiction was their show.
Ah.
Which is funny because we're here on Fact Community Television.
Or is it fiction TV?
Yeah, right? Anyway, they are basically splitting up the show. The 2 hosts aren't getting along, kind of like what happened to my first show here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or no, this was the first show here. That was
This
actually,
was the first, that
yeah.
was the second.
Yeah, but anyway, that one went for like 2 years and it was good, but over 2 years. But anyway, my point is, they basically go out in the woods to find the Jersey Devil, a mythological creature
beast.
that really is talked about in New Jersey, in the Pine Barrens area. So they at least based it on folklore.
Something.
The folklore is real. Who knows if the creature is? Ooh. Anyway.
Right.
And quickly, I have to answer those questions. So
Yeah.
since there's such a wide space between this, go back and check out the questions at the beginning, and here are the answers in the same order. Sorry, no spoilers. They are dumb and not in movies. Those will make sense if you line them up with the questions from earlier. But anyway,
Yeah.
So that's the basic premise is these guys go to look for this creature. They hire what they believe to be a psychic to take them out in the woods to find this creature because he'll psychically know where to go. and 2 of them end up dead. One of them gets blamed for the deaths and dies in prison, and this documentarian is trying to look into, did the guy really do it? Was there a creature? Were there other people involved? What's going on?
Yeah, well, two died and one went missing.
It's called a
Because there were
horror
3 guys.
mystery.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, no, one of the hosts disappeared. One of the hosts was found there dead, and the psychic was charged with their murders. But those were the 3 guys, but the 2 hosts and that guy. But anyway,
all right.
The point being, the documentary is, trying to figure out who actually killed these people. Was it this guy? And now it's a little too late to let the guy out since he died in prison. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some mysterious footage shows up that was missing from that trip on the producer of the documentary's doorstep, and there's damage to it, and basically he's trying to have it fixed so everyone can know who the killer is. We're not going to give that part away, but it's pretty good premise. They call it horror/mystery, which I get the mystery part, because they're digging
The whole
into
thing
who
is
did it.
like, who did it, right?
Exactly. But before we get any farther into it, why don't we let you see a trailer so you know what we're talking about?
Roll that trailer.
I'd come to this project with many of the same assumptions that you have concerning the Jersey Devil murders and the guilt of Jim Seward. His characterization as a troubled young man responsible for a spree of horrific, ritualistic homicides. What really happened that night? And is Jim Seward truly responsible?
Most people, when they commit a crime, aren't being videotaped like, when they're doing it, or like near the time when they're doing it. It was like spying in on this crime about to happen.
No one else had the opportunity to commit those murders except for Mr. Jim Seward.
I feel weird about it.
Yeah, I know, me too.
This whole idea to come out into the woods and stuff.
Suddenly they want to jump into doing, big time live, from the Pine Barrens, and have radio and internet and this and that. And, I knew it was going to be a fiasco. I didn't really think it was going to end up like it did, but I knew it wasn't going to look pretty.
The attacker was using both hands with 2 weapons and was ambidextrous.
2 separate instruments were driven into the victims at the same time.
I think to anybody, if you found 47 pieces of a human being or human beings, it would be very disturbing.
The whole thing reeks of a setup. More went down than we know.
Jim's an innocent man, and this was not investigated in any way, shape, or form.
The one thing about this with, this guy Jim, the case they built up against him, it was all circumstantial. They didn't have any actual evidence that he did this, but, he was the only one there.
Also, if he's an innocent man, there's a killer on the loose.
As they said on Fact or Fiction, you decide.
All right.
Not a bad trailer, honestly.
No, it didn't give too much away.
A horrible poster.
Yeah, well, anyway. Now, before we get into the meat and beef of the show, as you like to call it.
Yes, the meat and beef of the show.
We don't do this for free. We tell this to you people every week. For those playing along at home, get ready. We do this for fat stacks of cash that we get paid instead of just doing this for free. But how do we get paid, Jay?
Real products and things and companies that actually exist and are real, and you can go get them or go to them.
They pay us lots
Big
of fat stacks of cash
money
to advertise their products.
We swim in pools full of bills.
Anyway, and this week, our checks will be coming from, let's see. Gory Story Time is brought to you by Community Television. Do you have views and opinions you would like to express? Do you care that tens of people may watch? Then come into your local community television station. Come up with any topic you believe is show-worthy, and we will film and air it even though you are wrong. That's Community Television, because why not work for free?
Yeah. And by Murderous Love Songs, the album of music that sounds romantic but is actually about killing your significant other. Songs like I Will Always Love You But You Gotta Go, Caskets for Two, and of course the smash hit You May Not Be an Angel Yet, But You Will Be Soon. That's Murderous Love Songs, available on iTunes and out of the way gas stations, but only on 8-track. Worth it.
Anyway, let's get into some of the behind the scenes stuff. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the movie before we do this?
I mean, it's not really a plug. The whole thing is on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, like, before we go and spoil it, go watch it.
It is really a out of print thing.
Yeah,
it's hard to get.
There's no DVDs.
Like, unless you want to pay way too much for what it'd be worth.
Right.
Anyway, you go first, right?
Yeah. The film is dubbed This film is dubbed the first desktop feature film. It was the first film to be filmed, edited, and screened entirely digitally. No film was involved. Wow.
Yep. The premiere screening was released digitally to cinemas across the U.S. via satellite and shown using Texas Instruments DLP digital camera projectors.
Texas Instruments makes calculators now.
Well, not Texas Instruments makes instruments that
whatever.
are like
the entire film
digital.
was shot for just $900.
The Jersey Devil investigation is started when someone comes on the internet to the TV show and says, "Why don't you do a show on the Jersey Devil?" When this is referred to later and shown on screen twice, the caller actually says, "Why don't you do a show on the Pine Barrens?" Yeah, that was a mistake.
Oops. Early in the film, when the narrator is talking about Jim Seward's fascination with the internet and magic, a website about magic tricks is shown. However, the web address URL is not shown correctly and would only lead to an error page.
In the credits of the film, it reads, "The story and characters depicted in this movie are entirely fictitious, but please don't tell anyone." It says that in the credits.
The film is sometimes erroneously cited as an influence on the Blair Witch Project, but the concept for that film was developed in '93. The production began in '97, 5 months before the premiere of the last broadcast.
The last broadcast was released theatrically in the United States on October 23rd, 1998, and grossed $12,097 in the U.S. box office. Now, that's awful, but it only cost $900, so to make $12,000 is actually quite the profit.
It is quite the profit. And internationally, it made approximately $4 million. Quite a turnout when it's $900.
Yeah, but if your international box office is $4 million, you have failed. You do not get to make a second film. You do not collect $200. You do not get to,
Is it not about percentage? Because, like, a movie now would be made for $100 million. This movie was made for $900.
It looks like they probably used actual stuff from a New Jersey community television thing.
Probably, who cares?
I honestly think that they didn't say that, but I mean, it seems that way.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we could do the movie. It wouldn't take very much work.
No, actually, we could do it better because the quality of the equipment is better now.
The cameras we have here are better.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Says guys who do a couple of shows where we sit in front of the same desk with a screen behind us.
I mean, see, the initiative
most of the shows here are this.
Right.
Have that premise, but
and the people on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, they gave it an average score of 39% of the people liked it,
and the critics gave it 44% positive reviews. Yeah,
pretty low, which for horror movies is usually the case, like we say. But let's talk about the things we liked and didn't like, and then we'll say what we thought of the movie.
All right.
What is your favorite scene? Let's go with that first, because we know what's happening with the other. A concept. So I love found footage movies. I love documentaries. I found this out recently, and this was just about the perfect blend of found footage, documentary, It was found footage and documentary style, yeah.
And it was just about perfect.
I mean, the acting was pretty good, too.
Considering?
Like,
right.
It didn't look like, people who couldn't act not acting. It looked like people just doing a talking head documentary and being themselves on camera. You know what I mean?
Right.
Any stiffness
totally
is the normal
worked.
stiffness you would have from people that aren't used to being on camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it fit the product.
Absolutely.
It should look that way.
So, yeah, definitely just the idea of doing a found footage documentary the way they did, the way it was executed for the most part.
All right. My favorite part was probably the fact that when I first saw this, I saw it after I saw the Blair Witch, and it was back when there was rumors that this influenced that and all that. But it was a new kind of horror movie at the time.
Yeah, at that point there had been 2.
Yeah.
Right.
And I saw this second, even though it came out first. But those movies, both of them, I loved. And yeah, the documentary style, it looks real. It's friggin' cool. But the found footage thing, it's been overdone at this point.
Like, they find a real reason to do found footage.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I found a tin of footage in the woods and we're showing you it for the Blair Witch. It's like, all right, but in real life, you give that to the police.
Right.
And then they do an investigation.
And certainly don't release it as a film.
Right. In real life, you don't watch what happened to Katie.
In this,
and
it's
Micah.
a documentary
Right.
about the footage that was found, and that gives them the excuse to show you the footage.
Instead of just being all weird about it and making up dumb reasons.
Now, what is your least favorite part? And we're going to be in agreement on this because we've already discussed
I think it was
this.
about the last 10 minutes of the movie. Because
Something important happens where the footage is being...
Well, the entire movie, it's a mystery, leading to who did it.
Or what.
They finally reveal the who or what did it.
But the way they do it is all of a sudden it's now a film and not found footage
Right.
or documentary style. The camera that is on
It's moving
the killer,
in like a very movie way.
and like there's not another person that would be holding the camera that's now showing you the killer doing another murder.
Right, and then there's like a shot where the camera's like up in the sky. It's like, no.
Right. So as much as it's found footage, the last 10 minutes they ruin it by undoing the found footage portion and making it just a film.
Yeah.
That's something the Blair Witch got right. It never stopped being found footage.
And they didn't even have to show us that stuff at the end there
Right.
because it has the reveal. Technically, the reveal is during the found footage part. They could have just cut right there.
Except it started being weird when the killer was walking into that house because who was holding it? You see what I'm saying? The camera. Now, Baba, I don't want to give stuff
Okay,
away.
whatever.
But
watch it.
Yes, it's definitely good. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this movie?
I'm going 6.
Really?
Because,
that low?
yes. See, so here's the issue. It led up to what should have been great. But that ending takes off 3 points for me. It would have been a 9. But that ending really kills it.
See, I'm going to go for a 7 and a half. I'll go 7.5 because it is the first of its kind. You know what I mean? And it was done well. There's no part until that part that we agree sucked. Everything else, it's 100%
it's
believable.
Literally awesome.
And it's you would watch it and think, oh, I'm watching a documentary.
If I rated it without the last 10 minutes, I'd go 9. There's no doubt about that.
I think I'm knocking points off just because the genre got so watered down for a while that everything was found footage.
The next good one was Paranormal Activity, and then that
went downhill.
ran itself into the ground.
Exactly.
So, yeah, definitely do watch it. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
And if you have the money, go on eBay. I'm sure it's expensive.
Sure, they have a copy somewhere for
out of print DVDs.
For $900, you could pay them back for the amount that they paid for the movie.
The money wouldn't go to the producers.
Right.
Anyway, hopefully they re-release it on some sort of Blu-ray or something because I would love to own it because it is worth watching.
It's worth it.
The biggest issue is that ending just.
So bad.
So now every week we have to also do this.
There it is. So you can watch this show on Fact TV channel 1076, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can like us on Facebook. And when I say us, I don't just mean you and I on our personal pages. Of course not. I mean Gory Storytime has a page. I mean we have a page. Well, we don't, but there is a page for Fact TV. Matter of fact, sometimes people watch things live like this while it's being filmed. I don't know if that's the case, but
if you're watching, hi.
Hey, and if you're watching on TV, also hi. If you're watching as it's on the YouTube channel, whatever. Like,
if you're watching, hello.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. I looked into the wrong camera.
Yeah.
You can go to www.factdate.com and watch a bunch of the back episodes of this and the episodes of other shows that they do and all those wonderful board meetings.
Yes, and you can check out youtube.com where I have a channel that has old episodes of my show Daddy Issues. I have the first few episodes of this show. I have the 100th episode, a slightly different version than aired because there was
We sat down and talked over the Night of the Living Dead.
Yep.
From beginning to end.
There's music videos, there's
your
sketches.
Your current other show.
Yep. So,
yeah. In Fact TV also has a YouTube where they put all this stuff up, basically
the
just
newer
like
episodes of this are there. And
oh, yeah. So
definitely check those out. Page. And you can follow us on the Twitter.
Yeah. I'm at Jason T. Jake 17, capital J, capital T, capital J, capital 17.
And I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
We don't talk about the show.
Nope.
I don't even use my Twitter.
No, he uses another Twitter.
I don't have any time for my Twitter.
He tweets out other things from a different account. But anyway.
Yeah. So.
What do you gotta say? Come on.
Until next time, I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father.
Today is Friday the 13th.
It is. We're recording this on Friday the 13th.
Happy Friday the 13th.
And
sweet dreams.